All right, hello everybody. Coming back, working on Big Blue over here. Yesterday, we did some sandblasting on her, on the frame in the back here. My sandblaster, which is over there, it's being a little temperamental. Didn't want to really cooperate. It's older. It was my father's from years ago when he used to restore cars. You know, he'd strip them down, bare frame, bring them out the yard, sandblast a frame, paint it. And I've used it a few times, but sometimes it gets temperamental. It wants to clog up, doesn't want to spray good. So yesterday it was being kind of a pain in the butt. But I got it going enough to blast the frame down. I really just concentrated on the really, really bad areas, which I'll be honest, the frame wasn't really in the worst shape. It was pretty clean. I've seen, like I said before, a lot worse. So I just basically blasted down areas where it was really, really, really heavy rust. Just try to come in on like the tops there. So I basically just blasted down where it was the worst. It was being such a pain in the butt. I mean, realistically, obviously, if you're doing this, you know, full restoration, you would actually strip this thing down to there was nothing on the frame, and you would blast the whole frame completely inside and out and then shoot it. Like I said before, it's not that kind of party here with this truck. It's just basically get it cleaned up, get it decent. Even blasting it was probably more than I had to do. I really probably could have just wire wheeled it down in all the real heavy areas and just hit it with some paint real quick and called it a day. But you know what? Figured I had the blaster hanging around with the media. I use Fine Grit Black Beauty media. I said, I have the blaster, I got the media, I might as well do it. It's winter time, it's February, so obviously had to do it outside. We're in New England, but it's been mild this winter. It's like 45-ish yesterday. Today it's raining, ice and crap, but yesterday it was clear, so I said, you know what? That's the day to do it. So this side, as you can see, I've already started painting. I'm using Pour 15, which is really for painting over rust, but like I said, I didn't get the frame as clean as I wanted it, so it's not 100% perfect. So I figured, you know what? I'll just hit it with a nice coat of Pour 15, and I do have some Rust-Oleum flat black in the rattle can. I do have some in the core also, but I got a couple flat black cans of Rust-Oleum. So wherever I cannot get in there good with the Pour 15, I'm just gonna blast it with the Rust-Oleum. Like I said, we're not doing a concourse restoration here. By no means. We're just getting her better than she was and addressing some areas where, I mean, honestly, the way the frame looked on it, I probably could have left it the way it was. I probably could have just said, forget it. I'm not even gonna paint it, or, you know, I'll just hit it real quick and then I'll just rattle can it. But I was like, you know what? Break out the blaster. There were some spots, like on the tops of the bed mounts here, that were pretty bad. Inside the bed mounts, which is hard to see. I don't have the best lighting in here. I'm still working on getting stuff set up, but you can see, you know, it was really scaly in there, and it was really scaly on the leaf spring shackles. It was just gross looking. So I figured, you know what, just go for it, hit it with the blaster, get as much as I could, get it clean. And I mean, the job itself will look better because you have a smoother surface. When you lay that paint on it, you'll get that nice, you know, when you paint over, you know, any guys who have done this, any people who have done this before, you know, when you paint over really scaly rust, yeah, it looks good, but it looks that bumpy, scaly. You could tell that you painted over thick rust. But when you blast something and I mean, this is just literally, I brushed that paint on. And for being brushed on paint, it looks pretty smooth. So you can imagine, I mean, obviously, you're not gonna see the truck with the bed off all the time, but even with the bed back on it, if someone gets down there and looks, they're gonna say, oh wow, this thing's not bad looking underneath. It's pretty solid, it's pretty clean. That's what I was going for. Not full restoration, but, you know, decent. Like I said, work truck, scrap truck, plow truck, it's what it's gonna be, dump run truck, but I mean, I like nice stuff. I like to keep my stuff nice. I like my stuff to look nice. And what happens, and you know, I'm sure people that are following this, that are in the cars and in the trucks and stuff, they'll agree. If you take the time, you do a decent job, especially on like a work truck like this, you know what, 2-3 years down the road, someone could come along and say, hey, I like that truck, you want to sell it, and next thing you know, you're selling it, you're making money on it, you're breaking even at least. Even if you're breaking even and you used the truck and you worked it and it paid for itself with that, that's not a bad thing. So that's sometimes where you take this little extra time to do this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, it's tedious, you know. Some guys are like, oh, you're just gonna use it for a work truck. Why would you even bother doing that? You know what? 2-3 years down the road, and I can guarantee it's gonna happen because it happens with everything I own. A couple years down the road, I'm gonna be tired of it. I'm gonna want something else. I'm gonna buy something else gonna come along, and then I'm gonna say, okay, it's time to sell this truck. And these are the steps that make the difference from selling a truck for 10 grand versus 13 grand. And you might say, well, no, how does it really make a difference? It will, especially if someone comes and looks at it who knows what they're looking at. So I figured just do a quick video update. Right now, like I said, I'm working on painting it. I painted this side of the frame already, just kind of by hand with a brush, nothing special. I'm gonna do all the frame with the Port 15 by brush. I'll take it as far as I go. I don't have a ton left, but I should have more than enough to do the other side frame like I did this side, so I'm gonna concentrate on doing that. And then, like the cross members, the insides of the frame, I'm just gonna bomb it with some flat Rust-Oleum. You know, it'll just make it look fresh. That's it, nothing crazy. We're not banging, this baby's not going to Pebble Beach, so there's no point in really going crazy. But I still, you know, I take a little pride in what I do at times. I want it to look good and stay looking good. So I figured give you guys an update, and hopefully coming up, get some extra cash, get a better camera, you know, get a tripod, record while I actually work. Right now it's hard with the phone to hold the phone and do the work at the same time. So I figure instead of trying to, you know, make it harder on myself, we'll just do these updates as I go along. But hopefully coming soon, we'll start doing some stuff where you can actually see it getting worked on and seeing the steps I'm taking and all that. All right, appreciate it. Thank you.